Hello, I'm Michael Bunch. I'm the plant pathologist at the North Dakota State University Carrington Research Extension Center. I'd like to take a moment to provide a data summary showing the impact of adding the copper-based fungicide badge to a standard fungicide when applying fungicides for management of white mold in dry beans. Growers are often interested in adding the copper-based product in order to target bacterial diseases. And they want to know, what is the impact of adding that to my traditional fungicide in terms of white mold management? That's what I'm going to discuss today. I would stress that these are research results presented as a summary. If you would like detailed research results, I would suggest you look at the corresponding PDF that I provide that has detailed research results from individual field studies in which we tested the standard fungicide with or without badge. These are fungicide studies conducted with a handheld spray boom pressurized by carbon dioxide. In most studies, we conducted testing on pinto beans. Row spacing was 14 inches in almost all studies. Seeding rate was 90,000 viable seeds an acre. In most studies, sometimes 80,000 viable seeds an acre. We applied the fungicides with fine or medium droplets in studies conducted from 2010 to 2021, and then we calibrated droplet size relative to the canopy characteristics in 2022 to 2024. We conducted the testing with 2 fungicide applications, spaced 7 to 14 days later, depending on the study, with that first application done at early bloom and initial pin pod. Testing was conducted with 5 or 6 experimental replicates in most studies. White mold was assessed by evaluating every plant individually for the percent of the plant impacted by white mold in a minimum of half of the rows per plot, and harvest was done simulating knifing. We clipped the plants to the base, or we pulled them, we windrowed them to dry down, and then we passed the clipped plants through the combine. We did this rather than straight harvest because we wanted to eliminate any variability in yield caused by differences in standability of the dry beans across the footprint of the study. Supplemental overhead irrigation was applied as needed to establish the white mold disease pressure required to evaluate fungicide performance. To stress, fungicide testing was conducted with 2 sequential applications of the same fungicide. The reason why we did this is that when you apply the same fungicide twice, you compound any differences, and it allows you to look at the comparative efficacy of different products and different product application rates more rigorously. These comparative testing results are provided to help facilitate informed decisions for selecting products for application once or twice in season, either as a standalone application or in rotation with another fungicide. So these testing results are meant to apply also to single fungicide applications or to fungicide rotation strategies. Beginning now, with Endura at 8 ounces applied alone or in tank mix with badge. What you can see is that we saw a trend towards slightly better white mold management and slightly higher yields when we added the badge. Now again, badge is a copper-based product added primarily targeting bacterial diseases. What these results suggest is that by all means adding the badge to Endura had no deleterious impact on the Endura and its efficacy against white mold, and possibly helped white mold management. What about Propulse? When we added badge to Propulse, we saw the same trend of slightly better white mold management and slightly higher dry bean yields. Again, no statistical separation between the 2 fungicide treatments, but a very clear trend, and what these indicate is that adding the badge was not deleterious to the Propulse in terms of white mold management and possibly helped. What about Topsin? When we added badge to Topsin, we had the opposite reaction, where the disease management in terms of white mold actually went down and the yields went down slightly. No statistical separation, but the trend is consistent between the disease data and the yield data. So what have we learned? Adding the badge to the Endura and the Propulse was definitely not disadvantageous. If anything, it helped with the white mold management. With Topsin, the jury is out. We don't know for certain, but by all means, we did not see a gain in white mold management or yield when we added the badge to the Topsin. Before I close, I'd like to give sincere thanks to the staff in Carrington who contributed to this research. Aaron Faust, Swan Collis, Jesse Hafner, and Gabby Henson. These are current staff members, and my former staff members, Thomas Miorini, Billy Kraft, and Michael Schaefer. I'd also like to give thanks to the staff in Langdon who contributed to our efficacy testing. These are Scott Halley, the former plant pathologist who's now retired, and Amanda Ahrens, who is still in Langdon to this day. This research was made possible through funding support from the North Harvest Bean Growers Association. These are your checkoff dollars. The North Dakota Crop Protection Product Harmonization Registration Board, administered by the North Dakota Department of Agriculture, and contract testing from the private companies. I would also give my sincere thanks to Bollingberg Seeds, Green Valley Bean Company, and Kelly Bean Company in Hatton for donating the seed for our driving white mold studies year after year. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope this information is of value to your operations.